you doing, Gio? Hey, Gio. What is it, Gio? You gonna help? You gonna help? Hey, back away now. Go sit down. Go sit down. You're a grudge dog. So there's the valve cover. We're gonna put on the engine there now in a second. And that's the rocker arms that they're activated by the lobes on your cam gear here. And as these lobes come up over the top, they'll push down on these rocker arms like that and activate the valves in their timing. I'm just about to put this cover on there now, so there's a full torquing sequence and everything for this valve cover. But before I do, you can see when you take those cap nuts off the valve cover, it gives you access to the end of the rocker arms here, and this is where you can adjust your valve lash. And the valve lash is the distance between this flat surface on the bottom here and of course the top center part of your valve right there that pushes down. So before I install this valve cover, because I relapped the valves and now the valves are sitting higher than what they were before, so they should be a little bit up higher here, not by much, but there is only about a couple of thousandths of an inch between them. So before I do that, I'm going to, if I push this one all the way up, gives you a little bit clearer view. You can see there's a lock, a little nut right there, 10mm nut, and you can see the slot that's in the top of the adjuster there. So that's for a flat top screwdriver. So what I've done was I took my 10mm wrench and I loosened this nut. You can see I can turn it. And what I'm doing now is I'm going to turn this adjustment here back a little bit to give it more space here, because I don't want to do any damage when I go to put this on. I don't want to do any damage if, you know, if they're going to be pushing down on this and you're going to be trying to torque this head. I don't want any you know, backward pressure or whatever or anything that's going to keep this from seating properly on the valve cover. And as I said, there's no factory gasket for this here. It's usually what you do is you pick up some RTV silicone. Pick it up at any of the, I get this at Canadian Tire, but this happens to be Permatex, and it's the red RTV for high temperature, and it's a gasket maker. So what I'm going to do is I'll put a very thin layer all around here and a little bit right here. Not much. You don't want it, because when you squeeze it together, you don't want it disappearing down into the engine, or it's the biggest thing. And it's, I mean, silicone is not going to stop this engine, but what it can do is there's little, you can barely see it, but there's little tiny oil holes in here that allows oil to flow up. Oil flows into the center here, out to these little holes and stuff. You want any of that silicone floating around in there and then blocking up any of those little passages. That's the biggest problem you want to avoid. So it's just a very thin coat. Just spread it on with your finger, nice and flat, nothing major. Just try to keep it even if you can, and just put it on there. You're not supposed to do this access hole here that just has a rubber cap that goes inside right here. This is not to put any gasket maker on here, so I won't be. Anyway, I'm gonna just I got them loosened up and turned back a little bit now, so I'm gonna go ahead and put the gasket maker on here, and then I'm going to settle the head down, and then there's a full torquing sequence that got to be done.